Former Mayor of the City of Santa Cruz, Jane Weed.
Yes.
Former Mayor of the City of Santa Cruz, Bruce Van Allen.
Yeah.
And current candidate for the City of Watsonville City Council, Vanessa Quiroz-Carter.
There you go.
So not only do I want to thank all of you, those people for being here, but I also want to thank them for their service. Because being on City Council and being elected, at times you don't really feel like you're getting a lot of support. You're often just getting yelled at by people who are upset, whether it's a pothole or dog poop. We get a lot of those calls pretty frequently, and so I just want to thank you all for your service, and I just hope that everybody has a chance to reach out and connect with these people before they go, because they've done a lot of amazing work for our community. So, just to tell you all a little bit of my background, I'm a scientist, I'm a renter, I'm an educator, I'm a union member at UCSC, I'm a former mayor of the City of Santa Cruz, and I stand before you all here today as someone who has decided that they want to run for the 3rd District County Supervisor for Santa Cruz County. The reason why I first decided to run for office was because when I moved back to Santa Cruz in 2015, I saw many of my friends and many community members suffering in this community. I had many friends who were getting kicked out of their homes, even though they paid their rents on time and had paid their rents, and they're tax-paying people. They weren't causing any problems. Seeing these people pushed out of their homes really motivated me to figure out how can we make a difference. Because at that time, the city council was unwilling to pass rent control or anything that could help renters. They weren't really doing much to support working class people and working families. And I thought to myself, well, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and give it a shot.
Ow!
And at the end of the day, I was the highest vote recipient in 2018 and became the mayor of Santa Cruz in 2020. And I think that shows something about our community, right? One, our community wants change because our government was not answering our calls, they weren't listening to us, and the people decided to say it's enough. We need someone new. We need to bring somebody in who's actually gonna listen to us, who's actually gonna take action. And for the past 3 years that I've been on city council, I've been doing my best to listen to your concerns and try to act on your behalf. And as county supervisor, I will be doing the same at the county level. So many people have asked me, and it actually is not the easiest question to answer, but why are you running for county supervisor? And I'll tell you the reasons why I'm running. One is that we continue to, in my personal opinion, I feel that the community of Santa Cruz is in a very unstable position. We see many people who are the working foundation of our society being pushed out because of high housing costs. And as a result, we're gonna start seeing many of our essential services not be fulfilled. Not because people don't wanna do the jobs, but because the people can't actually live here in our community. And we need to fix that. That is something that we absolutely fundamentally must address. Whether that's through the production of affordable housing or creating programs that are gonna keep people in their homes and get people off the street, we have to be committed to making that happen. And as 3rd District County Supervisor, that is one of the things that's gonna be at the top of my list to focus on. Low-wage workers, making sure that we're supporting our community, and the people who provide the services that we need. We should not have people who are working, for example, in our homeless services, living on the streets. And we do, for those of you who don't know. The people who are providing us with our essential services, whether they're working at a restaurant, whether they're picking up our trash, those people deserve to be housed, they deserve to be respected, and we must do better if we want our community to move forward. And that is one of the things that I'm committed to. In addition to supporting our workforce, we know that our climate crisis is at its peak. When I first got into college in 2001, I remember hearing the calls and the need to take action. 20 years Back then, they were saying, if we don't do anything about mitigating our CO2 emissions, 20 years from now, we're going to see increased fires, we're going to see increased flooding, we're going to see more hurricanes. And because of the inaction, we're seeing all of that happen. And our community is being affected by this. We just saw one of the biggest fires in our county's history happen last year during 2020. And one of the things that I did during that time was try to get appropriate information out to people so people knew what was actually happening, where they could go to get help and support. We worked with the county to try to make sure that price gouging wasn't going to happen in our community so that people who were in desperate situations weren't going to get taken advantage of. And as a county supervisor, I'm committed to continuing to work with our community to rebuild in the North Coast, to rebuild in Bonnie Doon, and to do so in such a way that we put the infrastructure in place so that when this happens again, we can be there to fight it and it's not going to get out of control. And in addition to those programs, we're going to have to do everything we can to support our workforce in terms of workforce development within our county. I've spoken with a number of union members, and one of the things I hear is that when it comes to the trades, there's a lot of people who are aging and aging out, and we're not seeing people going in and taking those jobs. These are some of the best paying jobs within our community. And we need to make sure that we're creating pipelines so that our children and young people have an opportunity to have a good paying job within our society.
Here,
within
here.
our community.
Yeah.
And so I'm dedicated, as someone who works at UCSC, who's worked in nonprofit development, I'm dedicated to not only working with our local schools, but working with our industry partners and working with our unions to create systems of upward socioeconomic mobility so that future generations are able to stay within the town that they were born. And last year when we saw George Floyd brutally murdered on TV, and we had a call for people to come out and take action in the spirit of Black Lives Matter, one thing that really surfaced for me is how we need to have diversity in our leadership. Our country is becoming more and more diverse, and in the 2020 census this year, under the population that's under the age of 18, there is no majority anymore. There is no demographic that is a single majority. And what that means is that we all need to figure out how we're going to come together and work together to support each other, because that's what we believe in. We are, I would say, overwhelmingly Santa Cruz is a very anti-racist community at its core, but racism does exist. And if we want to create policies that are going to support people of color, we want to create policies that are going to help working class people, then we need to have people at the table. And as someone who is a renter, someone who's middle class, I'm dedicated to working on behalf of all of you as a county supervisor.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wrap it up because I left my actual speech on my computer and I'm trying to speak But again, I will say, but I will say again that I appreciate all of you who have come out today. And one thing that I encourage, one, is that you vote for me in 2022 if you can. Two, that you donate to our campaign, because it's going to take a lot of work for us to get this off the ground. And it's going to be a lot of work because I know that my opponent is definitely going to be out raising money, and we got to make sure that we're there as well to match them dollar for dollar and to be able to ensure that we're getting our message out to there as well. And I think that's all I got. So thank you all for coming. Please, there's food, there's drinks. Enjoy yourselves, and I'm looking forward to working with you all moving forward. If you'd like to support me as well with an endorsement, you can talk to my treasurer, Ross Albert, right here. He can take your checks, and he can tell you how you can volunteer and help on our campaign. So thank you all.